Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with Tyranny blind. I've activated another Spire, so let's go up. The now familiar light of the spire courses skyward, tracing off towards the horizon in the direction of Vengeance Well. You feel the ground beneath you fall away as you give into the warmth of the energy surrounding you. The dawning spire gives you an impression of slow, inexorable movement, like a glacier of living stone. Unstoppable force moves at a pace that no AI could follow. The tower's very immobility is a pretense. With a triumphant heave, you feel the will of the spire stretch across the distance to link its power with Vengeance Well. Too bad the spire could not save Stone Archon from falling to Chaos' edict. This woman thinks the spire would have wanted to. She scratches a spindly curved claw along her collarbone as she peers over the lip of the spire, down at the petrified Archon clutching its base. Yet to be honest, I feel pretty guilty about not doing that before I attempted the ritual. Maybe it would have changed something. Another spire added to your collection, which begs the question of how many strongholds does one Fatebinder need? I'll leave you to answer the hard questions. I feel bad reveling in this moment, knowing that it came at such a loss of immense power, but we will use it to further our cause, so it won't have happened in vain. Okay, do I want training grounds? Allows you to recruit the finest skilled trainers in the tiers. Resting in the spire grants bonus to accuracy, athletics, and subterfuge. The infirmary allows you to brew potions and consumables. I think this is more useful. Okay, whom can I recruit into this? A master alchemist who brews rare potions to take into battle. Sure. A merchant with a large collection of potions. Alchemist who provides the infirmary with supplies. Sure, seems cool. Teaches lore, control life. What does Lantry use? Is it control life or vigor? Control emotions. An alchemist who brews potions to take into battle. Sure. Large collection of potions. Yeah, I need to do some trading because I'm out of money. Let's take this guy and see. It teaches lore, control life, and magic staff. Okay, I'll go back to one of the previous spires. I guess this one.
On it.
Conduct research to find plans and schematics for new artifacts. Sure.
On it.
Have you completed forging an item? Your recruits have been hard at work. Let me show you what they have done. Okay, I am going to equip that.
I'll just hold on to this.
They look kind of meh. But it is literally an artifact. I'll keep that. Because it'll keep upgrading itself. Can I upgrade it here? Like I won't have money for it. I need to do some trading. Oh, what else can you do for me? And can I afford it? Oh, reforged head of cairn, plus 3 wits. But I need... Okay, I'll think I'll do that, actually. Staff of cairn. But that's control stone, which isn't that great of a skill for me. Okay, first I need to do some selling. Now, before we continue.
I got it.
I think I'll switch my party a little bit. But I'll save beforehand because it likes to be kind of buggy. Let's take Ebb. With a beaming smile, Ebb turns a small vial in her hands, examining the water inside.
Oh, I didn't think I'd ever see this stuff again. Wagstaff must have salvaged it from the Academy of Tides.
What is it exactly?
At the risk of sounding like a pedantic sage, it's potentially several things at the moment. Occulted Jade, Archon of Tides, had a trick to turn things into water and back again. This little vial here is halfway through that transformation. It's just waiting for the and back again step.
Can you do something with it?
Occulted Jade made her war staff out of this stuff. But now that she's gone, what's to stop me?
A war staff? I like the sound of that.
As do I. Nothing wrong with my current one, but a little innovation never hurt, right? Tradition was you make sculptures and tools out of ocean alloy, but only the Archon and her guards were permitted to wear it into battle. But if she wanted us to follow her rules, she shouldn't have jumped ship and abandoned the Tears.
What would you need to create the staff?
Nothing. Just the willingness to get over some stupid old rule.
Holding Syzygy in one hand, she uncorks the vial with her thumb and pours the waters on the blades that crown the staff. The water ripples around the contours of the blade staff, spreading to envelop the weapon's volume in thin, shimmering coating. Placing both hands on the handle of the staff, Ebb pulls with both hands, straining with all her might, until at last the staff splits in two, her old staff in one hand, a shimmering translucent twin in the other.
Now all we need to do is get ourselves into trouble and test this out. Knowing us, that won't take long.
Yeah, actually.
That's twice now you've undone one of Kairos' edicts. If you're trying to invite the wrath of the Overlord, good job. For those of us far afield of Azure, the Edict of Stone was a bit hard to parse. We assumed, naively so, that the Overlord saves the worst for the enemy. But how Kairos chose to deal with Cairn is quite telling. With the Edict of Stone now broken, the Stone Sea might cease its daily tremors. The land will never look the same as I remember it, but perhaps new settlements will be built. I should hope in your honor, now that life is less tumultuous. What is it you need? Smartest thing you've said all day.
Be seeing you, Fatebinder.
So, are you wearing that? No. Why not? Calling on both the Water of Life and the searing rays of Gravelight, Ebb establishes a tidal link between her blood and that of her victim, slowly leaching from them their very essence and adding it to her own. The amount of health she drains scales with the Wavecrest's renown. Formed by Tidecaster Ebb in a variation of her traditional war staff, this weapon is only perfectly solid when swung. While held at rest, the staff ebbs and flows around the hands that grip it. Created from materials that have been transmuted into water and reshaped, such weaponry was in times past fiercely guarded by occulted jade, Archon of the Tides. Okay, have fun with that. But
on it.
I am taking Lantry as well. Where is that? Oh, right here.
Can't do that.
I will keep Sirin because my loyalty with her is still quite low.
That's twice now. By Kairos' icy nethers, twice! Edicts have been broken before, but never in all my many years have I heard of one person doing it twice.
Well, to be honest, it seems that anybody can do it. Just think about the wording of the edict and you'll find Kairos has left options.
That's like saying winning a war is as simple as raising a giant army and making all the right maneuvers. Knowing what must be done and actually doing it, well, that's the dividing line between being a legend and being forgotten. I can sober up on the road. Ready to go?
We'll wait for a short while.
Okay. Can you train anything with those guys? No, but you should be able to train with the other guy, right? Ah, Fatebinder. I hope everything is to your liking.
Can't do that.
Welcome to the Spire's infirmary, Fatebinder. As you can see, we have everything in order and under control. What do you make of the Spire? The alchemist glances towards the edge with an anxious twitch. This is certainly an irregular place to establish our services, but so be it. At least we're removed from the front lines, for the time being at least. What can I do here? If you wish to craft potions, we have an alchemy station nearby. We are, of course, producing a modest supply of potions ourselves. You have but to ask, and I'll show you what you've made. Have you made anything yet? We have nothing for you at the moment. Damiro looks off towards the Stone Sea. This is the farthest I've been from my home in Halfsgate. The air is a lot clearer up here. It'll help with the herb's potency. You can imagine the difficulties we've had with the edict in the Stone Sea. Why did you leave Halfsgate and offer your services to me? I made good with a few resources I had, but eventually even the little I had ran out. I closed up shop, and that's when I decided to take my skills elsewhere. What have you made? I don't have anything at the moment. An alchemist looks you up and down with an expression of open curiosity. Reasonably healthy, reasonably fit, evident exposure to military camp diseases and combat conditions. No doubt some worm has invaded your bowels and tripled in size by now. You'll be dead before long. Excuse me? I said, you'll be dead before long. She sighs and shakes her head. Add hearing loss to the list. It is a sad reality of military life. Too much time spent in cramped quarters, sharing a bunk with some half-dead soldier who can't control his fluids. I tend to keep my distance from such squalors to avoid catching what I treat. As you can see. But at your rate, it'll all be inevitable that some parasite or poison will devour you from the inside, unless you take special care. Why don't you show me what I can do to treat myself and forestall this inevitable doom? I would love to help, but I need some time to replenish my stock. Come back later. Gela begins to snap into the disfavored salute, but then seems to think better of it, bowing. A pleasure, Fatebinder. My contacts up north provide me numerous alchemical tonics and poultices, each far more effective than the products of southern herbs. I worked with the disfavored previously, but so long as you work to end the war, I'm happy to serve you. You come from the north? Yes, proud to say. Her mouth forms a wide smile. Her smile subsides into a small frown. I have been away for quite a while now. Hopefully many of us will be sent back home, once the tears have been taken. Graven Ashe protects, Fatebinder. Do you need to buy something? I guess I can buy a couple of those. It's a pretty useful thing to have. The sage immediately takes hold of your hand, shaking them profusely. Fatebinder Stanis Javert, what a curious set of circumstances. You may not remember me, but I was there, among the countless mages who were able to flee before the Kairos' edict reduced Vellum Citadel to the burning husk it is today. Apologies for my exuberance. It will be my distinct honor in training you in the magical arts of life, or the depths of lore. Do you use Control Life, or... Yeah, I guess you do. Although, don't you use Vigor as well? Yeah, Control Life and Control Vigor. Okay. And she can train me up to 150, wow. Do any of you teach Control Vigor here? Or should I just dump it all? Not here. Control Vigor, Control Stone. I haven't... Control Vigor, Nikostas. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I can brew my own potions, I guess. If I really wanted to. I'm not really using them that much. Perhaps I should, but just can't be bothered most of the time. The sage is preoccupied with examining every groove and crack in the stonework of the spire. He sees you and begins to shake his head in astonishment. By Kairos' wrinkled sack, how on Terratus did you build something like this so high off the ground? How do you secure your vials from the wind? What do you do when it rains? Before you have a chance to respond, his face is already leaned into a collection of herbs growing into the planta, completely disregarding any answers. I'll make sure to make something worthy of this soaring apothecary. Make no mistake of that. I don't have anything at the moment. Check back later. The man takes a deep bow. Arasto at your service. If you're looking for a reliable seller of potions, look no further. Potions are an uncommon commodity. How do you acquire them? I have my ways. He leans in closer. Many soldiers fall in battle on all sides, many of them carrying goods such as these that will remain on the battlefield wasting away. I simply make sure these goods find their way into able hands yet again. You plunder the dead for potions. Oh no, I have people I pay to do that. Okay. Okay. Let's go to the other thingamajig and teach Lantry something about control vigor, which he is also using. We saw a great flash of light come from the cracks in the stone sea. Some great disturbance, no doubt. Okay, strikes twice with her normal attacks. That seems pretty nice. Improves Lantry's thrown attacks. Gain a bonus to accuracy. Okay, let me fiddle a little with this. Because maybe I should invest into like a fire spell. Like I'm using already the... Yeah, let's create like a fireball spell for a start. Okay, it'll have to be like this for the time being. They don't have space on here anymore, which maybe I should drop some of the weaker ones. To be honest, like I recognize I'm pretty crap at the combat in this game, but that's because like I don't care enough about it to devote a lot of time into like intense micro and all that. I'm managing to get through the game, and I don't care about it being optimized. I care about the story. So like, it is working. It's haggard as heck, and I recognize it. But it is working. So why change things that apparently aren't all that broken in the first place? Okay, so I'll go back to Tarkis Ari, because that's what I have to do, right? Yeah, meet with Tarkis Ari at Ascension Hall. And there's just one Spire remaining for me to claim. Are you sure about recruiting the Unbroken? Everyone knows the folk of Stalwart put Stalwart first. If they join us, it will be just for show. It'll be a matter of time until they decide defending their own lands matters more, and they'll pack their bags and leave. Well, unless you and the rest of Cairn's worshippers want to put on a proper suit of armor and fight with the rest of us, we need more muscle. Can't imagine the Forgebound actually helping us fight either. We're festooned with mystics, but starving for anyone with the backbone to fight. Yes, of course, send your artisans into the fray. That's a long-term strategy for you. But Isadora has a point. How do we know the Unbroken won't don our iron and turn tail? Well, you can argue all you want, but we need to focus on what can be accomplished. You're right, of course. Kairos threatens us all, and we'll need all the allies we can get. Speaking of which, what about the sages? They might make stronger allies than the Unbroken. I'm afraid not. I have received words just before you arrived that the Scarlet Chorus has captured or killed the last of the sages resisting in the contested lands. What's left of their guild has scattered, perhaps forever. Not to Lantry. A moment of silence for the sages, then. Thanks, but if this is for my benefit, no need. I prefer we focus on the living. Besides, we must not let loss tempt us into revising history. The School of Ink and Quill would not have observed a moment of silence for our passing. By definition, you are being too kind. Wait, so could I have made the sages join me if I did it like the other way around, like went there first or something? Because I assume that would have involved breaking the Edict of Fire, which would have been very cool because I cast that. That would be, kind of a redemption story for me, but I guess I don't have an option. It must be the Unbroken. That settles the matter. I will seek the Unbroken in the Blade Grave. Then I will dispatch a scouting party of Vengeance Guard to clear the path. The Blade Grave is a treacherous territory, choked by enemy patrols and the whims of the storm in equal measure. You should find the way cleared before you. The disfavored beat the snot out of the Unbroken, but they never did claim Sentinel stand keep. The last vestiges of the regents, stalwart rulers, are probably still hiding in their fortress. You might also have some luck prowling the wilds of the Bladegrave for unbroken partisans. But I imagine they are a dying breed these days. I can't imagine how they live being chased by the disfavored and plagued by the Edict of Storms. A blooded mark emerges from the shadows, daggers drawn. His golden eyes flare and then darken as his pupils expand, his face set with purpose. Surprised gasp escapes from your allies, quickly followed by the clang and shuffle of weapons being raised at the ready. Wait everyone, hold your position. Let the Archon speak. With a barely perceptible shrug, he sheaths his daggers.
I can appreciate your caution, but if I came to kill you, you'd already be dead.
Well, thanks, I guess. He grins, teeth starkly white, but it's not a friendly expression.
I've been watching you, Fatebinder, and I don't mean in the fun way. I want answers for what you did in the Stone Sea. You broke an edict and survived. That made you a fluke. But then you broke another and survived it. And that makes you interesting. You will tell me how you did it.
Well, to be honest, Kairos himself left loopholes, so by definition, even in a roundabout way, I have done Kairos' will by breaking the edict, because he has left specific conditions under which that is going to happen. I merely fulfilled Kairos' will. I have done nothing wrong.
I know a line when I hear one.
He palms a dagger, flicks it back and forth. He tosses it in the air and catches it by the tip of the blade, once, twice, then hurls it without warning, slicing past your cheek. When it strikes the wall, it bursts into a wisp of shadows.
At least tell me how you felt after.
Sure. Like, maybe it's going to tell them something, but it's all such vague general information, and I don't see much harm in sharing that. I felt pretty great, I guess. Like, I could take on anyone and win.
That sounds promising and dangerous. Now the question is, will the effect intensify or lessen for you with each subsequent edict you unravel? I'll be waiting and watching you.
Oh, received a missive from Fatebinder Roggles. An Archon's End. Dear Fatebinder Stanis Javert, you've ended an edict and now you've ended an Archon. I know none in this court that had such expectations for you when the Adjudicator initially brought you among us. So many surprises in such a short span. While he lived, Cairn was a singular being, a titanic man born of the womb of Terratus herself, to hear some tell it. While none still living can provide account to his birth, you bore witness to his demise. Indeed, you participated in it. I ask that you indulge my scholar's curiosity. What passed between you and the Archon of Stone in those final moments? Did the ground tear itself asunder as a widow that rends her garments? Did the mountains groan a panegyric to the champion? Were there any final words from Cairn, spoken or inscribed? Does the crystal that reportedly protrudes from the cliffs throughout Azure still glimmer, or has it darkened? I watch eagerly for your bird. I took no satisfaction in ending Cairn, save that one takes from fulfilling their obligations. The Archon of Stone's presence has poisoned the Stone Sea. His death throes, hourly rocking the people of old Azure. Neither have I seen so much suffering caused by the choices of a sole individual. In executing the Archon of Stone, I both rid the Stone Sea of his protracted corrosion and released him from his agony. It had to be done, but there was no pleasure in it. Until we meet again. So I guess I won't be going, I'm kind of sad that I somehow omitted the burning library. Because I assume I'm not going to go there now with the sages being gone. Oh well. I guess there is something poetic as well, although in a different way, about that particular edict remaining unresolved. You know, I did that and I have to like live with that. The battered fortress is the historic home of stalwart ruling families, the Regents. Protected by 2 massive walls, it was never taken during the conquest. Frustrated with the siege, Kairos has issued an edict that severely damaged the castle and left it encased within a massive perpetual tornado. The Overlord subjects watch the pronouncements of a Fatebinder and often see only pampered courtiers exalted by the whim to parse the guilty from the guiltless. They rarely recognize the toll, the drudgery of study, the labor of training, and the toil of investigating innocence and culpability. Our efforts rarely even earn praise. Nor should they. The death of an Archon deserves no more celebration than a verdict of guilt. There are no more and no less the rings by which we purchase order and peace. It heartens me that you discern some moral remuneration in your duties. Remember, though, that our service to the Overlord demands uncompromising adherence to justice, not kindness or gallantry. Thank you for your response and your continued service. Yeah, this game is weirdly botched in the story area. Like, how can they all be so oblivious to the fact that I'm literally betraying Kairos at every turn? Like, I've stolen his Forgebound, I've stolen his Earthshakers, I'm communing with the Oathbreakers. They sit in my fortress, protected by me, all the while being called Oathbreakers for breaking the oaths sworn to Kairos. Like,
I got it.
I don't get that. It's almost as if the rebel path is kind of like an afterthought. Like,
brought to their knees in the most brutal way possible. The ultimate fate of any who would defy Kairos.
Can't do that. Can't do that.
This location is pretty metal. It has like people impaled on the rocks.
Sorry, I can't. Can't do that.
The moat that has once encircled Sentinel's stand has long since succumbed to the harsh environment. Standing water and patches of moist dirt are all that remain.
Can't do that.
Sentinel's stand keep was once a proud, imposing structure. Now it stands as a mere shadow of its former glory.
Sorry, I can't. Sorry, I can't.
Remarkable. Would you look at those shifting winds? It's almost hypnotic. I've long desired to see the embodiment of Kairos' wrath, though perhaps not so closely. No one throws the tantrum like the Overlord. In spite of her remark, Sirin wears a look of grim introspection. You step forward, but the wind repels you like a physical force around the tornado's edge. The area ahead is impassable. Stay vigilant. Did you hear that? a voice almost, perhaps a song? You catch an odd sound in the wind, a low moan hidden within the cacophony of swirling dirt and metal debris. The clouds of dust seem close in upon you. Within them, you see patches of glowing red.
More bodies to pile in our wake! Ah, I'm terrible at this. How am I not dead yet?
I'll omit that from the record.
Figured I'd make an example out of that one.
Take that! Oh my, yeah.
The Bane are gone and their unnatural cries silence, leaving only the tornado violence in your ears. As the clouds recede, you spot a crouched figure on the wall above.
Look there, Fatebinder. Atop the wall. Someone takes note of our passing.
Sorry, I can't.
A soldier kneels behind the ruined parapets. You can tell by his raiment, old stalwart gear, that he's an unbroken soldier. He peers at you with a mixture of caution and curiosity. You handle the Bane well enough, but what brings you to this forsaken place? He pauses as recognition dawns in his eyes. You're a Fatebinder of Tunon, are you not? Pretty far removed from your perch in Vengeance Well. What brings you to Sentinel's stand? Not the weather, I think. He glances to left and right. I've always wondered if the air was cleaner atop the spires. I take it, you're getting awfully familiar with them, if the word I hear from Letian's Crossing is any indication. Well, the air is cleaner but also thin, unsatisfying. Call that one curiosity scratched off the list. If you were ever in a position to offer tours, I'd be the first to sign up. I'm gathering a coalition to stand against Kairos, and I seek to recruit the Unbroken. You're in the right place, but the only Unbroken who gather here are unlucky scouts like myself, who look to the windfall and wait for something to change. He nods over to the tornado. It's more eye-catching than the Edict of Stone, I'll grant you, though I wasn't there to watch that one collapse around Cairn's remains. I guess you have that distinction. Well, I could help you end Kairos' Edict of Storms. That's not a claim I often hear from the servants of the Overlord. Of course, if you think you can end the edict, you'll have to make your way inside of Sentinel's stand to do it. Kairos' anger has been raging without pause for the last year. It's bad enough that no one can enter or leave the inner keep. The keep had enough provisions to fatten a garrison for the next century, not to mention feed those disfavored prisoners. It stands to reason that the stalwart's last regent is still alive in there. He's not the source of our problem, but he's at the center of it. Why are you here? I drew the short straw. He chuckles and shakes his head. The Unbroken make a habit of patrolling the outer fortress in case the storm breaks or someone happens to emerge from the keep. If we could find a way to cross the windfall, we could take back Sentinel Keep and defend our country from a position of power. In any case, nothing ever comes from our patrols. Something of a fool's errand, if you ask me. I'd be surprised if the storms calmed in my lifetime. No one holds a grudge like Kairos. What about the disfavored prisoners? Before the Edict of Stone hit us last year, a stalwart patrol captured a company of disfavored. I know that at least some of the prisoners made it to Sentinel's stand. No one has been able to contact with the keep since the edict hit, but I have it on good authority that one of the prisoners was the daughter of Graven Asher. I am no military strategist, but it doesn't take one to know that the Archon of War holds his troops in high esteem. The regent trapped in Sentinel stand wouldn't execute one without trying to barter a deal, so there's at least a chance that the prisoners are still alive, don't you think? Why is the last regent important? His friendly expression sours. The regents carried the bloodline of old Stalward's ruling family. That link, any connection to the past, carries a lot of weight, maybe even too much. Of all the younger realms, Stalward's ruling order has always been the most resistant to internal conflict. The flippant answer is to say they are all unthinking zealots, but put yourself in their footsteps. For all they've known, the regents have staved off foreign invasions for centuries, while every other realm in the tiers cannot boast the same. That's some damn respectable reputation, so it's hard to fault the common folk for being so devoted to their dynasties. To make matters worse, the bloodline is tied to Kairos' edict. As long as they live, the storms will continue to tear apart our country, and the last of the regents is trapped in there. I see your point. Stratus Herodin, the last regent, is hiding behind Kairos' windfall, pretending he still rules the stalwart that was. First chance I get, I'm plunging my blade into his heart and ending the edict for good. Stalwart has suffered enough. What do the Unbroken want? Sentinel stand can be used as a seat of pride for the regions of Stalwart. These days it's a wind blasted to ruin, but it could be made into an unassailable fortress for the Unbroken, if you could just dispel those storms. He fingers at the edge of the blade with a longing. Kairos envisions us groveling in supplication, slowly eroding our culture like details carved in stone. We will not accept a meek vision of Stalwart. If I am to die, it will happen on the battlefield, defending our nation's future. Say the Unbroken do get through the storms. How do they expect to breach the keep's walls? It's no small challenge, true, but we had a year to make preparations. Our alchemists cobbled together a nasty and unstable powder that explodes when thrown in quantity. Stalwart justice, I call it, though the name hasn't stuck. We have enough stockpiled to blow a hole in the old walls if we set our minds to it. How can I get inside Sentinel stand? If I had an answer for you, would I be standing here choking on rust? He laughs to himself, and flurries of dust cascade from his shoulders. Some of us think there is a way. If you truly call yourself a friend of the Unbroken, then make your way to Duskwatch Keep and speak with Captain Agathon. I think you're just the man he's been looking for. The area around Duskwatch is crawling with Graven Asher's ironclads, so tread lightly. If you can help Agathon dispatch them, all the better. Here's to hoping our paths cross again. Janos turns and drops over the battlement's edge, disappearing into the storm. But wait, let me read the exact wording of the edict. Those who in their pride and arrogance stand against the peace and order of our empire shall be ground beneath the stones of their land. Let those who call themselves unbroken, who embrace the chaos of war in the defiance of our order, be broken in the storms of our rage. Let our storm rage until the last blade be broken, or the line of the regent falls. Okay. So, this is, I think, pretty easy, because obviously you could kill them all, but it isn't specifically about the people. It's about the line of the regents. So if you convince them to abdicate, that would end the line of the regents, right? So I think I'm going to do that if I can. This way, no one has to die. Okay, I guess I'm going somewhere else. Duskwatch was one of several forts hastily constructed by the Unbroken in response to Kairos' conquest of the Tears. Due to its position near Stalwart's coasts, it escaped a destruction from Kairos' magical storms. It is now one of the few remaining rebel outposts. Okay, they are disfavored here. Oh no, just my luck that I would run afoul of Tunon's Fatebinder. He puts 2 fingers to his lips and readies to whistle, thinks better of it. Say friend, why not just let me go? These are rough times, and mercy is more valuable than gold. Fatebinder, something I can do for you? Well, tell me what the disfavored are doing here and I might spare you. Ashe ordered us to take the fort. Commander Osmios also says there's a northern prisoner behind those walls. He swallows nervously, his attention darting from you to the palisade. That's all I know. I'm mostly focused on my orders, like a good sentry. Everything you know about Duskwatch now. Throughout the war, the Unbroken kept this fort locked up against Kairos' forces. It might not be much to look at, but the folks behind are a spirited bunch. Not even the storm has broken their nerve. I know what the commander would say, that a southerner is too ignorant to wipe the grit from his own eyes. But the Unbroken have been using the storm against us, and well, you have to respect that. Okay, go away. Like, if you don't want to fight, you know, just run. Go on and get out of here. I'm tired of your face. Thank you. Never meant to get in the way of the law. The young sentry stumbles on his feet as he departs in haste.
Can't do that. Sorry, I can't.
A broad-shouldered Unbroken captain stops just short of the open gate. He looks you over with an uncertain frown. Fatebinder of Tunon, correct? Even in Duskwatch, we hear tell of court agent who defies Kairos' forces. But one can never be too careful around these days. Captain Agathon of the Unbroken, Duskwatch Fort is under my protection. In spite of Graven Ash's best efforts, we stand with our dignity intact. You look as if you have something in your mind, and I take it that a court emissary doesn't come peddling mead. I met Janos. He mentioned you're looking into for a way into Sentinel's stand. Oh, yeah. I'm not surprised that Janos has sent you. He's a gambling man and quick to trust, unlike me. I make no secret of our intentions. The Unbroken mean to kill Stradius Herodin and end the Edict of Storms. While our country was being destroyed by Kairos' storm, our former ruler hid behind his castle walls. Any allegiance we had for him is gone. The only problem is how to traverse the winds around Sentinel's stand and get inside. The captain looks you up and down. I am not convinced that we should trust you with this mission. As servant of Kairos, I have my doubts. Duskwatch is too important of a place in the hands of Duskwatch is too important to place in the hands of fair-weather friends. Well, I wish to help you to reclaim your land. I'm impressed that you seem to believe your words, but that only tells me you'd be a capable spy. I have survived enough of this war that I won't put my faith in any blind trust now. Tell you what, help me defend Duskwatch against our enemies. Once I know that our objectives are aligned, I will work with you on finding a way to breach Sentinel's stand. Deal? Give me some time to survey the defenses before I commit to the cause. Rest up if you must, but be quick about it. The disfavored are coming, and they'll only need as much time as it takes to hammer down these walls. Okay, I'll explore the camp and talk with him some more, but I'll do it next time because this episode has been long enough. So I'm going to save here and end it for now. That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!